Okay, here we are. We're just playing along. We're watching.
As a concept makes sense.
We're watching
so you have these countries,
this thing, and
but the people making these
you don't know
decisions
that
are
name,
individuals,
so you're seeing
and they have
Sarah
so
Payne. I just go
many
through stuff. This stuff
individual
automatically
ambitions
comes
and
up.
desires
All right?
and constraints,
Let's,
from internal politics to factions they have to appease.
Sarah
It doesn't make sense to talk about
Payne.
countries having strategies.
See that right here?
Before I get going,
that's
I have
her
to
right
make
there.
an
Okay,
obligatory disclaimer,
talks,
which is
and
what I'm
she
about to
looks
say
like
are my
this other
views.
girl
Hey everybody, it's Tony
named
Robbins.
Ruth
Listen,
Payne.
I'm on my way to the
God,
studio,
this
and
guy's so annoying.
the sun is setting on an
then you
opportunity.
go,
I don't want you to miss
and
out.
you skip that.
They do
and
not
she's
necessarily
talking,
represent
and
those of the
she
U.S.
dresses
government,
like a Quaker,
let alone
she
the
looks
U.S.
like
Navy.
a Quaker. Okay, all right. She dresses and looks like a Quaker. Okay, I'll show you a picture of Mom Lake. Okay, so she looks like Ruth Payne, right? This is Sarah Payne. So you go into Sarah Payne, and you find out that she is. I learned so much from Sarah Payne, professor of history and strategy at the Naval War College. Okay, so here we go. This is a government girl, and she's doing podcasts. So these are lies. These are lying podcasts. These are agenda. These are Pentagon, and this is on YouTube. So now you go out of YouTube, and here's where I learned about this guy. This guy Roy.
I think the
this
inevitability
guy,
was because
he
the
talks
British and French
about
really screwed this
how
up.
the CIA does
So,
stuff and where they work out.
the
They work
German
out the
state
embassies and stuff like that.
is now
I'm going to tell you on this. Okay? He's just a regular history teacher. He's the real history teacher, not the Sarah Payne. So now you go back and you say, well, Josh, so what? So now you're going to go up and let's Google Ruth Payne real quick. And when we Google Ruth Payne, we get we do this, and look, we click Sarah Payne, and we note that Sarah Payne again looks like this girl named Ruth Payne. She was born in 1957, which is weird because Ruth Payne had a 2-year-old daughter in 1963. Ruth Payne has 2 daughters. Okay, so this might be one of hers. We don't know. Okay, she went to Harvard. She went to Columbia. She was born, it doesn't say where she's born, right? She's married to Bruce Ellerman. Ellerman's probably a Jewish guy. A professor at U.S. Naval War College, okay? It says she has 2 brothers, John and Tom. So we have to look up that. But we already know that the Paynes and so we're going to look up Ruth Payne a little bit, right? And this goes to this one. Okay, now we're looking up Ruth Payne. Let's see what her daughter is. It's Ruth Hyde Payne. And we're finding out that Ruth Hyde Payne was married to Michael Payne right there. Okay, and I was reading this just a little bit. Okay, her real name is Ruth Avery Hyde. Okay, and she was born in New York City. Okay, and to William A. and Carol E. Hyde. So William A. Hyde, see that right there? And Carol Hyde. And she went to college and she became a Quaker. Now, she became a Quaker because she was going into the CIA stuff. Her mom, her sister, they don't talk about this. Her sister already worked for the CIA. Okay? Her dad works for the CIA. This is a CIA family. Okay? They're not going to tell you this. Michael Payne is a CIA operative right here, works for Bell Hopcopter, and not only that, he's a relative of the Bell Hopcopter, and he just happens to be Michael. His middle name is Forbes, like Michael, like Forbes, like the Forbes magazine. Like the same Forbes that was a senator on Massachusetts. Why? Because they're out of Massachusetts. This is where they live. She's born in New York, but they live in Massachusetts. Okay. So we go back here, and then this guy's name pops up. So I was reading this, and I was forgetting some of it. So I write it. I was reading it. Ruth Payne met Oswald through her interest in the Russian language. Lie. She had learned to read Russian, but needed help with conversational Russian. Lie. She was teaching classes. She doesn't need help with the conversation. She was already teaching classes. Also, she and Michael Payne were separated at this time. They weren't separated. They're still together right now. A mutual friend, he just died like last year. A mutual friend from their major green singing group, Albert Grover. This is another lie. That's not how they met. They're all CIA guys. Invited her, this Everett Glover invited her to a party at his apartment February 22nd, 1963. Notice that date. Because I thought it'd be interesting, because he thought she would be interested in meeting two interesting people who spoke Russian. These are just supposed to be normal, everyday people, Lee Oswald and Mary Oswald. But come to this party in Dallas, you're going to meet some interesting people, like in the CIA. Okay, and now this Everett Glover, okay? The tenants of the group, Lee and Marty, were arranged by Oswald's friend, 51-year-old white Russian immigrant autocrat. He's a white Russian. He's a white Russian with Nazi, yes, you heard me, Nazi, he's a Nazi background. It's not George D. Mornshield. It says George M. Mornshield, but it's actually George M. Mornshield's real name is George von Mornshield. He's actually more connected to the Germans than people want to admit. Okay, so now we know that, so that we see that he's white Russian. I'm not making this up. George M. Mornshield, well-educated petroleum geologist with intelligence connections. Yeah, just a couple. Okay, so now we're going to get into this. Who's this Everett Glover guy? Okay, so then you go to Everett Glover, right? Because we're just following the news. So you go to Everett Glover, and what do you find out? Oh, shit. This guy just happened to have his testimony by the FBI in 1964 for his relationship with Marina Oswald and De Mornshields. Oh, is that right? Is that your name? Yes, Glover. Do you live in Dallas? Yes, I live in Glover. What's your present address? Webb Street. Yeah, I just moved there. I moved there since January this year. So this is a 1964 interview with the FBI. He's saying he lived there in 1964, and before that he lived on Southern Boulevard, and then before that he lived in on this other street on, you see it, Southern Boulevard, and then he moved on April, and he was living on 4449 Potomac in Dallas. Okay, that doesn't mean anything until you scroll down and find out here. He's gonna lie right away. Well, why did you move? It's like he lived in 3 different places in a year. In a year and a half, he lived in 3 places. And now you're going to find out why. What is your wife's maiden name? Were you married? Are you married right now? Yes. Okay, but I am married for the second time at the present time. My former wife and son by my former marriage are living in Pennsylvania. Okay, that's weird. Okay, so his former wife and his son moved out of Dallas, and now he is already remarried. Okay, look how fast this guy gets remarried. Where were you first married? 1940, okay? Had a kid. He's married to Mary Elizabeth Butler in Worcester, Massachusetts. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's right next to Boston. I'm not sure, but I think that's still the area that what's his name was running around in. What the notorious guy that just died in prison because he was part of the Boston Irish Mafia. I forget his name. Doesn't matter right now. We're going on to something else. So now we look up at his. This is his testimony by an FBI. She left. Okay. Residing when then she returned. The streams of leaving were that my son is very interested avocationally in ice skating. I don't know what avocationally is. See, this is not a dumb guy. This guy's vocabulary is amazing, and this is 1964. He has an amazing, and you're going to find out why. He's advocated in ice skating. See this ice skating? That's his son. His son. His son is the ice skater, and they're going to go to Hershey, Pennsylvania. And just like Ruth Payne, when they do this, you're going to catch him in a lie already. So, well, the maritime. Well, you're gonna find out. I was skating, and we met. Then they're gonna ask, okay, how did you meet de Mohrenschildt? He's being questioned by the Warren Commission, and it's gonna ask I moved yada yada background, word English, Glover side. Okay. Also, his current occupation, this is where it gets really interesting. Well, occupation is a chemist working with the geological group in the exploration section of Soconee Mobile Oil Field Research Laboratory. That's exactly what de Mohrenschildt does, okay? That's the same MO CIA thing that he does, okay? With your master's in what? In soil science, including chemistry, involving chemistry, figuring materials, and so much. He doesn't get into it that much. I'm not sure about using techniques and dealing with problems similar to soil problems. Okay, I don't know what that means. Okay, now they're going to ask you, this guy, Jenner, who's doing the interview, are you acquainted with Mr. George de Mohrenschildt? Yes, I am. When and under what circumstances you met? Well, then Mr. Glover goes, again, this is connection with my ice skating activity. Okay, you don't understand what this means because you didn't watch the movie JFK. In the movie JFK, and everybody that knows the research in the community of the JFK people, all us researchers know that the guy in the movie JFK, which is played by Pesci, was being tried, was arrested by Jim Garrison in 1960. Right after this happens, Jim Garrison goes and says, hey, Oswald, he knows some people around here. I know he was hanging out here in the summer. I'm going to find out who he's hanging with, and I'm going to ask them some questions. So he goes and he asks this guy named Ferry, David Ferry, hey, what were you doing in the summer? Oh, I was doing this. Where were you on November 22nd, 1963? Oh, funny thing. Me and my friends went to a skating rink. Okay. What you didn't know, though, is he met me and my gay friends went to a skating rink. Okay? What you don't know about Dave Ferry is he's a pilot. And where was the skating rink? Well, you're talking to him in Louisiana, and the big city in Louisiana on New Orleans. They're talking to him in New Orleans. So Garrison goes, drove to the nearest in the middle of the night with rain and the worst storm in like 10 years, and you and your buddies decide this is a good time to go ice skating. So you and your buddies go ice skating. And where do you go ice skating when living in New Orleans? You go to Houston, Texas. Okay? So Dave Ferry, a pilot, with his buddies, drives to the airport, to Houston, and he waits for a phone call at the ice rink. Okay? So this ice rink thing is where these CIA people are meeting up and their phone calls are going through to tell them what to do and who to pick up on that day. And this is where you see it all come together. They were at ice skating. They met de Mohrenschildt and his wife ice skating. All this stuff relates. These guys are bisexual, okay? First of all, de Mohrenschildt and this Everett guy apparently also is a bisexual man that gets multiple marriages because his first wife finds out he's a bisexual. Okay, and then I'm not making this up. Okay, so same with Ferry. Ferry is more out of the closet. Ferry actually hit on Oswald, and anyway, so these guys are. I'm telling you, these guys are homosexual or bisexual. You can't be homosexual in 1956, 63. They are bisexual man. They're meeting at the ice rink undercover as CIA as they're doing it for fun, and they just happen to meet each other, right? So, and all the way also be just the probability of it all. Why they were ice skating here. This Clover guy just happens to meet DeMornshield ice skating and his wife. Yeah, they both happen to be geologists from the same exact Dallas research company. But I don't know DeMornshield. I mean, I'm an acquaintance of him. I met him a couple times. We played tennis together. I ice skated together. What are you talking about? You work in the same place. You just said you worked at Sunco as a geologist. He's a Sunco. He works the same place. Okay? And now you're going to find out he rooms with them. And now you're going to find out other stuff about this guy too. So this is very interesting. They're like, oh, okay. What else is this guy going to tell us? So we became acquainted. I didn't know his wife. His wife had us call him by Joe. Listen to this. John. Okay? She's on her 4th alias. Okay? Her name is Jean. So she goes by Jean. And now she moved to Dallas and she's going by John. Where is it? Right here. Okay? She's not French. Well, you see here the lady. Did you learn what her first name was? They're talking about DeMornshield's wife. The name she wanted to be called was John. The French Geanne. So maybe he said Jeannie. Okay. She wanted to be called John. Before that, she was called Jeannie. These are aliases she has. She has 4 different names. She's been married 3 times. Before this is her 3rd marriage and her 5th name. I mean, the 5th known name to me. She probably has 6. Okay, who knows how many names she has? So this is Jeannie. That's right. I'd never seen it written down, but we've been calling her John. Anyways, her American name is Jeannie. That's false. She was actually, she's actually Russian, and she was born in China. And her dad, a CIA guy, worked for the railroads, and her dad and George Bush were in China exactly at the same time. It gets better. Okay. So now they're just talking. This is just a regular guy that I forgot about, but it reminded me of something. And then so now we're going to go through what was your relevance. Oh well, we played tennis. This is what I forgot about. How long do you know? Well, something about 63 we met. Who were your other friends? Well, I met with this guy named Larston Marshall. So this guy isn't American either. So now we're finding another guy that's not American in Dallas. His name is Larry, but I'm quite sure was Lawrenston C. Marshall, whatever that is, okay? We have to look into him. I forgot about this guy. I forgot about the names. So anyway, this Glover guy, or where did he live? He lived in Garland. Okay, this is where they're going to talk about where they met him at a party, okay? I was at a house. I met this Sam Bullen. So that's another guy we have to look up. All these guys are turds. All these guys are CIA. They're all like, they're all pro-Nazi or Nazi. Oh, what's that word when you're okay with what the Nazis did? He's whatever that is. Okay, the White Russian, meaning they wanted the Tsar, meaning they wanted the feudal system, the kings, the queens, and stuff like that, because they were underneath in that system, and they were. I think this guy, DeMornshield, von Mohrenschildt, mind you. He was like not a bishop, but one of those whatever guys in the Russian feels the king queen stuff. But anyway, that's not what we're getting at here. We're getting at what he's doing in America, and now we're going to find out. Okay, first I want to show you like this guy's marriage real quick, just to show you he's CIA. Before they talk, they're going to talk about his life. Anna Turn, related to the discovery or production or recovery of oil. That's his job. We're just going back to his job. Where does it say his wife? Okay. So he gets married. He has a kid. She goes away on the actual date, but approximately December of that year, 1962. In December 1962, he is separated, and the divorce was granted in the summer of 1963. In the summer of 63, approximately June, okay? And he remarried in August 26th that same year. Okay, do you get what I'm saying? August 26th of the same year, 1963. So he had a girl in weaning or something going on because he gets divorced December, remarries, or gets separated in December, and then, as you see here, he's separated in December. In June he's divorced, and in August he's remarried. July, he waited 2 months? August 22nd, he got remarried. Not even 2 months later. June 29th, he got divorced. August 26th, he gets... You see what I'm talking about? Okay. This is him in Dallas, and that might be why the wife left. I don't know. Something about this girl already being ready to get married. And this also might be for papers, too, by the way. Okay, but I wanted to get into this. It's really important. So... Then you're like, okay, what was he doing with, now we're getting back to Morton Shield. How do you know Morton Shield? We were playing tennis together. We met him. And then this is what he tells him. Well, it's pretty hard to produce some order of it because yada, yada, yada. But he apparently, and I believe this is to be true, had come back from a trip to South America. Damn it, why does it keep moving? South America, where are you? South America. And you're like, okay, that's weird. I mean to Mexico, where he had walked from the north edge. Why do you keep moving? He worked from the north edge of Mexico down to Central America to Panama. He went to the Panama Canal. Okay? So this is a prospector getting paid by the CIA, working for a gas company, also working with George Bush Sr. He's working with George Bush Sr. And the way they had to find oil, if you listen to my history guide that I was just talking about, is you literally have to walk the earth and you have to look at the rocks to see where the oils are. This is part of his job. This is part of what he's doing in Mexico. He's going to say he went there because his 2 kids died and he just had to go and he had to get out. No, he's doing a CIA op. Okay? I mean, you can do a CIA op and get your mind off your 2 children dying. That can happen too. But I guarantee he's getting paid to do this walk as working for petroleum companies, looking for oil in these communist cities and meeting with Mexican people. And then the funny thing is they're like, okay, so he's walking in Mexico, as we say here. And remember, all the papers that we're looking for now that are going to be released are about Oswald in Mexico. Okay, what were you doing in Oswald in Mexico? They're going to ask him, what were you doing in Mexico? And right here. Was anything said about the de Morton Shields, either of them having met any officials with the Soviet Union? He's saying when they went during the trip. See? During the trip. So they already know. They know the answer. This guy's already kind of knows. Okay, you went to Mexico and you met with Soviet officials. Okay, you met with the communists. You met with Russians. You met with these kind of people. And also in Mexico is a place where they're training for the killing of Castro. And they use those same people to go and kill JFK in Mexico. So this might be another reason why he's in Mexico at that time. I don't know. But, okay, so he's part of that group. We know he went to Mexico. We went to Panama. Here's him being asked by the Warren Commission, the first thing to question people if he met with Russians. Why would they ask him if he met with Russians if he didn't know anything? Okay? And then they asked, previous than that, and the time too, I know he went before, but I know when he went before, he was talking about a Model T, maybe it was a Model A. It was when he was young, it was like 1929, he'd be a young fellow, yada, yada, yada. He's going to do business there, Des Moines Shield. Okay, whether he was connected, somehow he said, with a State Department venture. Okay, he went there on a State Department adventure, okay? And now we lost it again. I love this. State Department adventure, okay? And then the guy asked, regarding to advising oil matters in Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia went communist, but they went communist. There was a group of communist people in Yugoslavia in World War II that actually went to the Soviet Union and tried to free the Romanowskis. And because when they went there, this is stuff you got to know. Like, you have to read and you have to find out. These Yugoslavians went to the Czechoslovakians and Yugoslavians. They had a group, and they went to Russia. And the guy, this Ron guy, says the communist then, because they saw that group, they quickly killed all the Romanowskis because they were afraid that this group was going to free them. And then as part of the White Russians, and then that sentiment for the other socialists will come through. So they immediately killed all the Romanowskis because they're afraid of these Czech Yugoslavian group army that came in under disguise of being Soviets and socialists and an army working for them, but it kind of looks like they were actually there as White Russians to free the enslaved former king of Russia, Tsar of Russia, okay? So that's who he's meeting with, okay? Just to give you a little backdrop of who these people are and why are they talking about this. You got to look into this stuff. It takes forever. I just found out the Yugoslavia stuff, the Czechoslovakia stuff. I just found about why they actually killed the Romanowskis. Okay, now that being said, there's something else in here that he says. 7 pages of 32. Can you see it up there on the top left? They're going to talk about, okay, why'd he go there? Okay, Yugoslavia, him and his wife at the time, yeah, I could think of it, assume, where they're living together, earlier period, yada, 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 Czech Dallas. Okay, I believe so. Now that could be checked with the Dallas Figure Skating Club. This isn't just regular ice skating. This is figure skating. And I don't know if you've ever watched figure skating, but those guys are, most of the guys are bisexual or gay. They're dancers. They're dancers on skates. So a lot of these guys are bisexual and gay. Okay? That's just the obvious. Okay? But these are bisexual men that are going out and they're doing this stuff together. Okay? So he had 3 marriages prior to this time. So he already knows, like, the background that he has children. And he did, and he went for this walk on the Panama. Okay, but now we're going to get to the real thing. Okay, he was with the FBI. Okay, now we're going to get over that stuff, okay? Now we're going to look into, that's weird that he said something about, he mentioned that he knew Bush. Okay, now here's a whole article in U.S. Today that is modern that's going to talk about George Bush's prep school roommate, a friend of First Lady. They're going to talk, this article is about George Des Moines Shield, Russian-born oilman, a real international man of mystery, a vivid presence on JFK files. They're going to talk about Des Moines Shield in this JFK thing. It doesn't talk much except, like, it just says that the president knows, George Sr. knows all about, a letter was sent to him, but he knows all about Des Moines Shield. Why does he know about Des Moines Shield? As a CIA guy. International CIA note, okay? They're meaning he's a CIA note, okay? I don't know Des Moines Shield more than... Okay, this is a CIA note. He wrote this stuff. Okay, so now we're going to go back. Okay, let's talk about Ruth Payne's dad. Okay, and now I'm going to show you this. This is the part
William
that really
Avery
got me going.
Hyde
William
is
Hyde,
also the father of Ruth Payne.
William Hyde is the father of Ruth
In
Payne.
1963, the American government had a program to encourage Caribbean countries to grow jute, which is a hemp-like crop that can be used to make rope and other fibers. Joseph Dreyer worked for this federal government program and met George de Mohrenschildt while he was doing work on jute promotion in Haiti.
Okay.
When Dreyer was interviewed by an HSCA committee investigator, the investigator gave him a list of names and asked Dreyer whether he had heard de Mohrenschildt mention any of those names. Dreyer said that he recognized two of the names on the list: Dorothy Matlock, the woman de Mohrenschildt had met with from Army Intelligence, and William Avery Hyde, who worked for the U.S. Agency for International Development, and before that, the International Cooperation Administration. William Avery Hyde is also the father of Ruth
it.
Payne.
So that's what Ameritide.
In 1963, the American government had a program to encourage Caribbean countries to grow jute, which is a hemp-like crop.
You didn't read it all, but they're going to say, that was another CIA half lie, and I'll show you what I mean. So these are the pictures that were taken from that. Okay. You couldn't see it when they're printing this stuff up real fast. This is Ruth Payne. So this is the pictures of the video I just showed you. While I was doing work in jute, promoting in Haiti, this is all lies. These are CIA guys, both of them are. Okay, Joseph Dreyer worked for this federal program. It's not a federal program. It's a CIA coup that's going on. I'm going to show you that in 2 seconds. Okay, Joseph worked for this federal program. Okay, and look at this. When you see what you did miss, right? Let's see if we can enlarge it. I thought I saw it in here. Charles, he worked for the CIA. He worked for North Fiber. These are made up companies to give him reason to go into Haiti. The real reason they're going into Haiti is a coup. Whoa, Josh, you're making all that up. They're like, okay, so he leaves. Where is it? De Mohrenschildt, Cuba. Oh, they went to Cuba also, by the way. So this guy's traveling around a lot for being in a government thing, just looking for a hemp replacement in Haiti. So, okay, and then also in here, I think I saw it, Ruth Payne testimony and Maureen Oswald and Hyde. This is stuff they just showed there. Remember that guy we just read with the FBI, Everett Glover? There he is. In our Warren Commission, he talked about, there it is. Okay? This is where it comes back. They're met at the party. The Mohrenschildts, Glover. Okay? So this is what I'm telling you. Like, even today, they're lying about it. Okay? International corporate. These are CIA companies. Okay? So then you look up this guy, and you're going to find out. Okay, this was, again, the back stuff. This just saying that's Jackie Kennedy, man. Who I think might also be CIA or something. So anyway, here, okay, okay, now you go into this archive, right? And this is what it reads. And as you can see, it talks about traveling through Mexico, Central America, and then all this stuff is blocked out, okay? All this stuff that we're supposed to have information for through Trump, and it's all blacked out. A lot of the main points, because they still don't want you to know. Okay, so now we got that, and what I wanted to show you new is, okay, George de Mohrenschildt left. This guy was left. They just said that this guy was in. Go back. Remember this guy, Joseph Dreyer. He worked for the federal program, and he met de Mohrenschildt. Okay, what was he really doing at that time? In May and June, what they were actually doing, look at this, Haiti 1963. Okay? What was going on in 1963 in Haiti? Remember, the Morn Shield is not with Oswald during the killing. He's in Haiti. He left for Haiti, and that's why Marina is with Ruth Paine and not with the Morn Shields. They were supposed to stay with the Des Moines Shields. They're not with the Des Moines Shields. Instead, they're with the Paines because Des Moines Shield left for Haiti. Him and his wife left to Haiti. Okay? This is what they were doing in 1963 in Haiti. In 1963, a group of military persons, Des Moines Shield, planned a coup, but it was discovered in April. Most of the plotters were quickly rounded up by a small group, fled into the embassy of the Dominican Republic. They're talking about Des Moines Shield. They're not printing the names, but this is the Des Moines Shield. This is the people that we just saw. That's what I'm telling you. It's all lies. This guy, who they said was in a federal program, got caught with Des Moines Shield in Haiti, and here is this is the Canadians talking about it. This is the Canadian paper saying a small group of people, not listing any names, got caught by trying to do a coup. There's the coup. Okay? This is what they do. They're planning a coup. Military personnel were planning a coup, and they got caught, so they ran to the embassy. The embassy is where CIA people go to spy on foreign nations. And that's what my history guy, that Roy guy, was just telling me. The CIA, the embassy is actually a CIA thing. It's the same thing they did in Iran. The hostages in Iran were actually CIA guys left behind so they could tear up the papers of all the cruel genocides that they were doing in Iran and of all of Asia. And the reason they were caught in Iran, everybody else left, but not the CIA guys, because they were still tearing up papers. Same thing here. They're caught in the embassy. Why? Because they're CIA guys. They ran to the Dominican Republic and they used them, and this is why they're not talking about the names. This is what's happening. They seem to mention anti-government plotters or not immediately tensions rate high. You see all this? There's this. Okay? And then here, the U.S. Navy was also present with 7 ships, including landing craft, and was 1 Royal Navy warship. Shashikana maintained station in the Channel St. Mark, waiting for orders. They're ready to do a coup almost right then and there. They left the area on May 22nd. This is where Des Moines Shield was. Okay? Him and this guy were doing this thing in Haiti, and they got caught. Here's another proof. You go up and you Google who was, okay, if you Google who was the president, who was the ambassador of Haiti, you get this. You get, where are you? The ambassador of Haiti. Okay? These are the list of ambassador of Haiti. I took a snapshot picture of it. We're going to look, and from 61 to 62 to January 62, okay? Normal relations interrupted May 15th, 1963. Des Moines Shield, relations not yet resumed when Turnson left post. Okay, why? Okay, see this? From May to January of the following year, we didn't have anybody in Haiti because we were trying to overthrow Haiti. Des Moines Shield was part of that group, and he got caught there. Okay? Nobody talks about this. This is what you're going to find out. In 1963, May 1963, normal relations interrupted. No, they planned a coup. And they got kicked out. Relation not yet resumed. He left. He left May 26th. Okay? And nobody came back to 63 because they were planning a coup in Haiti. That's who Des Moines Shield is. That's who this Hyde guy is. This guy that they're talking about, this Joseph Dreyer guy, worked for a federal program. Yeah, federal killing program. So this is what they were doing This is what they do in Mexico. This is what they were doing there. And this is how they're related to JFK. And what do you know? JFK gets murdered. And what do you know? It's done by one of these guys that knows him with anti-Nazi. He's a Russian with that white Russian, just like Zapruder, just like the other guys. All these guys here. And they meet up and they're in Dallas. Here's another thing about what happened in Haiti. Operations Outwith Portion. They got caught in Haiti. Only 13 men operating in the countryside were capable of running the Haiti. From June to September 64, two separate groups invaded Haiti. This is America. This is what I'm talking about. This American coup in Haiti because they had oil, and they sent their oil guy into Mornshield to check it out to see how it was good and if we could take it over. And they're plotting to kill him when they got caught. Okay? And here's the paperwork showing it. This since Francis developed access to power in 1957, they're trying to get rid of this guy. Okay? And I don't know why that. So anyway, this is where it shows. This is the timeline of where these people were, and this is why DeMorci was gone at that time. Okay, so I had to let you guys know that this Everett guy, it's weird that this guy. Oh, where are we? It's weird that this guy Everett, this guy that nobody talks about, and now we're going to find out that he too was probably part of the CIA, and. You know, this is his paperwork that we can't see. And and this is Mornshield's real name, Von Mornshield. I'm not making any of this up. Okay? So this is who these real people are. Serge Von. This is who these real people are. This is who they really are. And these are the papers they're not letting us see even today. And there are lies on YouTube covering up what they actually did. And you know, there's a paper trail, but they're never going to show us. But you can Google it, and this is what I do. I just go around, I Google, okay, that name seems interesting, that seems interesting. Who's that? Who's this person? What are they doing? Why were they there? Okay? So if you can do this, but it takes forever, but okay, so Ruth Paine, why is this guy on a Warren Commission? Why is he talking to the FBI later? Why is he doing all this stuff? Because he's guilty. He's part of it. This Mr. Glover is part of the CIA. And if you read this 32 pages that they have on him, it gets creepier and creepier and creepier. Okay? This was a group in Dallas. These guys, all these oil guys. And this is how the oil is related to... You got to follow this part up. This is how it's all related. The oil is related to the killing of JFK. These are oil people. They're friends of they're friends of Bush Sr. Bush Sr. is friends with all the Nazi people. They helped start the Nazis. That's how it's all connected. I can tell you more, but I'm just trying to show you some of these pages that are here for you to read that talk about it, even though he lies. Okay? There's some still good stuff in here because they are under oath. So some of this stuff is... They're CIA guys, so they know how to lie. So some of the stuff, like, just kind of throws you off. But you'll see a bunch of it. We're talking about Russian girls in Dallas, okay? We're talking about Russians in Mexico. We're talking about invading and coups and all that stuff. This is why it's so interesting.